To start off lesson 2 of module 2, talking to you about space-time. In this realm called space-time, we would say that space is eternal. And the way that we experience time is moving through space. So if there's an infinite amount of space, and space is eternal in this three-dimensional reality, then you, as a conscious being in a physical material body, you are local in space-time. In other words, you're occupying a particular space at a particular time. Okay? So how do we navigate in three-dimensional reality, and how do we create things in three-dimensional reality? It's simple. You're at one point of consciousness, your awareness is at one place. Say that you're in your house, and you want to have the experience of being in your car. So you can put your attention or your awareness on another point of consciousness. Another way to say it is, you have the thought of being in your car, and you have the experience of actually being in your car. In order for you to create the experience of being in your car, as we said all along, you have to get up and do something, and as you move your body from one point of consciousness to another point of consciousness, from the thought to the experience, it takes time. So everything in three-dimensional reality takes time. We could say that there's a start, and there's a finish, there's a beginning, and there's an end. And the separation between those 2 points of consciousness creates time. Okay, let's evolve the model a little further. Let's say now that you're in your living room of your house, you're at one point of consciousness, your awareness is in your house, but you have the thought of having dinner with your friends. You put your attention or your awareness, your consciousness, on the restaurant, or you imagine having dinner with your friends, and you actually begin to put your attention on another point in space-time. And in order for you to have the experience of having dinner with your friends, you're going to have to get up and move your body through space, and it's going to take you a certain amount of time to get to the restaurant to have the experience of eating dinner with your friends. And the separation, again, once again, between those 2 points of consciousness creates time. And because there are certain rules of Newtonian classical physics, if you know the distance you're traveling and you know the speed in which you're moving, you could actually predict when you arrive there. So everything in three-dimensional reality becomes predictable or becomes known. Now let's talk about going a little further, where you create a vacation, for example. You have you as one point of consciousness at your office, and you have the thought or the vision of going on vacation. As your brain begins to construct the vision of being on vacation at a particular place, you put your attention on another point of consciousness, the experience of that reality. Now, in order for you to go from one point of consciousness to another point of consciousness, in this particular case, you may have to do a whole lot more things in order to create that vacation. You may have to save money. You may have to work extra hours. You might have to sacrifice shopping and going out to dinner. You may have to take on extra work to make more money. You may have to sell some items at a garage sale. You may have to ask for loans that you lent people to get more money. And you may have to wait for sales to buy certain things. But if you do enough things, you could actually have the experience of your vacation if you're creating matter to matter. And once again, the separation between those 2 points of consciousness is going to take you time and energy to create that vacation. And because we know ourselves, we could actually predict when we can go on that vacation, when we save enough money and we can pay for it. So then everything, once again, in three-dimensional reality can become predictable and it can become known. But what about your abundant life? You're at one point of consciousness, you're having the thought or the vision of having an abundant life. And you're going to put your attention on another point of consciousness, the reality or the experience of your abundant life. And it means then on some level, in order for us to create that abundant life, as you've learned, you got to do some things in order to create it. And it's going to take time and energy for you to create it. But what about creating from the 5th dimension? But let's change gears here right now. If you take a point and you draw a point and drag that point, you create a line. That's called one dimension. If you take that line and you drag that line, you create a square, and that square now has 2 dimensions. If you take that square and you drag that square again, you could actually create 3 dimensions. In three-dimensional reality, everything has height and depth and width. What if you took that cube and you drag that cube in all directions? All of a sudden, the cube would actually disappear and would enter that 4th dimension. So let's talk about everything that makes up the material world. You as a conscious being in three-dimensional reality, in a material physical body, you're occupying a particular space at particular moments in time. Everybody has a body. And everything in the material world does occupy space and time, not just your body, but all the objects and things and places. But what makes up the material world? We have people, we have objects and things, we have places and different cities that we're familiar with. We can expand our vision and back up a little bit more, and we have continents, and those continents have different countries. We can back up a little bit more, and the Earth is a place, and the moon is a place, and all of the planets and the sun and all of the moons on those planets are places, and we can back up, and there's a galaxy, the Milky Way galaxy, and there are other galaxies that go on in space, and then there's particular times. There's every time that's been recorded in history, past, present, and future. Now, the quantum field is an immaterial field of information and energy that exists beyond everything physical and material in space-time. Let me say that again. This quantum field is immaterial. It's a field of information and energy that exists beyond everything material and everything physical local in space-time, okay? So let's take away everything physical and material in the known universe. Take away your body, take away all the people on the planet, take away all the objects and things, all the planets, galaxy, take away the stars, take away the light from the stars. What are you left with? You're left with nothing physical or material. But just because you can see something doesn't mean it doesn't exist. We're left with a void. Now, if you look up what the void is in theoretical physics, it'll tell you the void is pure consciousness. And in it lie all possibilities and a non-manifest. What does that mean? It hasn't manifested physically yet. It's immaterial. It's non-tangible in its form. In other words, there's nothing physical or material in that void. It is pure consciousness. Theoretical physics says that consciousness is the totality beyond space-time. In other words, beyond everything physical and material, beyond everything in three-dimensional reality, consciousness is the totality that exists beyond this realm called space-time. And all of space-time, everything in space-time, is made up of consciousness. It's constructed by consciousness. There is no beginning, there is no end. It's infinite consciousness. That's what exists beyond everything physical and material that we perceive with our senses. So in this realm beyond space-time, consciousness and energy are one. That means that there's no separation. And if there's no separation, there is no time. So then the thought in the quantum and the experience are one. The thought literally is the experience in the quantum. If it took time, there would be separation. So in this realm beyond space-time, pure consciousness is in the presence of unlimited energy. Pure consciousness equals unlimited energy. In other words, how much energy exists in this void as pure consciousness? Enough energy to create universes. It is the creative energy. So pure consciousness, then, if we were to give it a definition, is the awareness of everybody, of everyone, of everything, of everywhere, in every time. That's what pure consciousness means. So this void is pure consciousness. In some sense, it's an awareness of everything physical and material. Now, let's go in the other direction. We've expanded our understanding out into the universe and beyond. Let's go to the very tiny. All matter is made of atoms. Atoms are the fundamental building blocks of everything physical and material. But the atom is 99.99999% energy, information, consciousness, nothingness. The atom is mostly void. It's unseen vibrating waves of potentials. Okay, so here's the classical model of an atom. It's called the Rutherford model. There's the nucleus, and then the electrons float around in these orbits, just like planets rotating around the sun. Then the model changed to this model where it says that there is a nucleus, but there's a wave of potential or cloud where the probability of the electron could exist. If you took the nucleus of an atom and blew it up to the size of Volkswagen, where the electron would exist would be the size of Utah, twice the size of Cuba. So they're atoms, mostly empty space. Okay, now here's the quandary. The atom is mostly void or pure consciousness. This interstellar medium, the void between the stars and the galaxies, is the same void that fills the atoms of our bodies. We're mostly void. The void is one continuous medium throughout the entire universe. This field permeates the entire universe. Now, your body is made up of 7 billion atoms. You are more information than you are matter. All matter has infinite dimensions, and don't exclude yourself from this phenomenon. So the probability that you're perceiving the truth of reality is zero. Our brain has been shaped and molded over generations untold to narrow our focus solely on the material world. The brain literally filters out energy and frequency because it's not relevant in three-dimensional reality. So what is this nothing? Let's begin to name it as many ways as we can. It's been called oneness. Why is it called oneness? Because there's nothing in the void to be separate from. It's been called by David Bohm undivided wholeness. Wholeness means it's unified. It is the source of everything physical and material. It is this point of singularity where the universe was created from and all other universes, where there is no space and there is no time. It is the all in all. It is all possibilities. It has been called the zero-point field, the unified field, the quantum field. It's been called the universal mind, pure consciousness, pure love. It's been called loving intelligence, intelligent love, the fertile void, vacuum energy, the mother-father principle, the creator, the observer, the absolute. So then, if you are a body and you're in the void and there's an object that's in the void, if there's anything physical or anything material, then you would be separate from that object. But since in the void you're not your body and there's nothing physical or material, then you can't be separate from anything. And if you're not separate from anything in the void, you are pure consciousness. Now check this out. In order for you to get from 3D to 5D, you have to pass through a door. In other words, if we're going to create from fifth dimension instead of 3 dimensions, we'd have to get to that immaterial realm that exists beyond our senses. You have to get beyond space-time. We have to go from the 3rd dimension to the 5th dimension. We have to pass through that door, and the door is the 4th dimension. We call that time or the present moment. And why do we call it the unknown? Because the brain is a record of the past. And since it's a record of the past, it stores experiences that we have with certain people and certain objects and things at certain times and places. And since every experience has an emotion associated with it, the moment we feel the emotion of some experience, our body begins to move into the past. So as we remember past experiences and we feel the emotions of it over and over again, it's that thought and that feeling, it's that image and that emotion, it's that stimulus and response that's conditioning the body to become the mind of the emotion, and now the body literally is in the past. We call that the familiar past. By the same means, if you wake up every morning and you think the same thoughts and you make the same choices, you do the same things, you create the same experiences, you feel the same emotions, do that over and over again, now your body's programmed into a predictable future based on what you did in the past. And that predictable future is also called the known. So if the familiar past is the known and the predictable future is the known, there's only one place where the unknown exists, and that's the present moment. That is where we create from. So then in order for us to pass to the 5th dimension, we have to pass through that door called the present moment, and that is the unknown. We would have to then change our attention from the material to the immaterial. We would have to change our awareness from matter to energy, and we would have to take all of our attention off the particle and put it on the wave in quantum physics. So then, since there's more information in the immaterial than the material, then that means that 3-dimensional reality is a small percentage of what we know. The unknown is what we don't know. So then, how do we get there? There's you as a self, that is a body, local in space and time, aware that you are yourself and you're aware of your surroundings as an identity. You're identifying with a body, local in space and time. Another way to say it is you are a body in a particular environment at a particular time that identifies with all the people and objects and things at certain times and places. Okay? That's how we are rooted in 3-dimensional reality. We discovered that in order for you to enter this quantum field, the only way that you can do it is take all your awareness off your physical body. Take all of your attention and all your awareness off all the people that you know in your life that you identify with. Take all your awareness off all the objects and things that are known to you, all of the places you've lived, the places you go, the place you sleep, the place you live, and take all of your attention or awareness off of time. In a sense, then, you'd have to become nothing. You'd have to get beyond your identity, get beyond yourself, and literally the only way you can enter the quantum field is you becoming pure consciousness. In other words, the moment you're not aware of your body, the moment you're not aware of your environment, and the moment you're not aware of time, it would be like then if you had no sight, no hearing, no smell, no taste, no feeling. Since our senses plug us into 3-dimensional reality, the moment you're not aware of anything physical and material, what are you? You are pure consciousness, aware of nothing but you. And so then you have to become nobody, no one, no thing, nowhere, in no time to pass through the eye of the needle to enter that 5th dimension or the quantum field. So now let's think about this. The void is pure consciousness, okay? Now in the void, if you truly can get there, you are pure consciousness as well. Now the only thing that's separating you from pure consciousness is the thought that you're separate from pure consciousness. Now what do I mean by that? If you've spent your entire life identifying as a body local in space and time, that there's you and there's non-you, or there's you and there's self and there's non-self. If you're truly in the void, then you are pure consciousness, you are not your body. And if you're in that void and it is pure consciousness, we have to practice then becoming more of it and less of us. We have to put more attention on it and less attention on us. We have to lose our sense of self to this nothing. So now, here's your homework. Since our first step is to get to that place called the void or the quantum field, let's have you practice a short meditation. And that meditation is designed for you to become nobody, no one, no thing, nowhere, in no time. Practice dissolving into that nothing like a drop of water into an endless sea. And pay more attention to it, less attention to you. Feel more of it and less of you. Relax into that nothing, stay present with it, and keep going. That's the step that we take to get to that field. In lesson 3 I'll be diving deeper into the concept of time-space.